各位现场的贵宾，大家好。由于早上主场会议略为耽搁，因此下午的会议会于10分钟之后1点10分稍微延误开始。感谢您的耐心等待，造成不便敬请见谅，谢谢。现场与会朋友大家好，早上的会议略有延后，也因此本场会议会顺延10分钟开始，将于1点10分左右开始，造成您的不便，敬请见谅，也感谢您的耐心配合，谢谢。 在这边也和现场的与会朋友布达一些活动的讯息。我们在右侧1003展示摊位有一些活动的讯息，也欢迎各位在中场交流休息的时间，可以利用这个时间去参观了解我们的讯息。谢谢大家。 感谢各位现场与会朋友的耐心等候，我们的会议即将开始。
Thank you for your patience. Our conference is about to begin.
Session 1A of the 2022 Global Health and Welfare Forum in Taiwan. This session is going to start in 3 minutes. Please be seated, turn off your cell phone, and keep your mask on at all times. We offer simultaneous interpretation today, and the device is available at the registration table at the first floor. I would also like to remind you that in the spirit of environment friendly, the forum will not provide hard copies of the program book. You can download it by scanning the QR code at the back of your badge. We thank you for your understanding. Just like at the registration desk at the lobby.
On the bottom.
Oh, yeah. 老师，那您等一下，如果觉得准备好可以开始的话，麻烦您给我一个示意，好吗？谢谢。就来。Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to Parallel Session 1A of the 2022 Global Health and Welfare Forum in Taiwan. The topic is the pension system and the economic security of the unemployed in old age, the operation and impact of different pension systems. For this session, we are very honored to have Professor Congxi Fu, Associate Professor, Department of Social Work, National Taiwan University ROC Taiwan, to be our moderator today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Fu. The floor is yours now. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for attending this session. Our host just reminded us this topic The topic of this session is about pension system for those not in employment. Some of you might wonder why we arrange a session for pension in this global health conference. As you might know, that there is a strong connection between income security and well-being and health. So I think that highlights the importance of the arrangement of this session. When the German Chancellor Bismarck established public pension 100 years ago, this system is only for those who employed in private sector. And since then, the principle of linking labor market participation and the pension entitlement has been a basic principle for pension system in many countries. So let's raise the issue of how to protect the income security for those who are not in employment. And in this session, we have 3 distinguished speakers from different countries to discuss these issues. And before I invite them to share their perspectives on this issue, I think it might be helpful if I introduce and give you some background information about pension system in these 3 countries. As you may see in this slide, in Japan, there's a universal pension. So folks who are not in employment, they join the same pension system as other people. And in Taiwan, we have a social insurance pension established especially for those who are not in employment. While in Korea, they also have a national pension, and the system is for those who work in private sector, including in farming sector. And for those who are not in employment, they have a special, they have a basic pension, and the system is tax funded. So it's different from Taiwan, Korea. And our 3 speakers, the first speaker is from Korea, Professor Wong Sub Kim, and he is from Department of Sociology, Korea University. And our second, he's going to introduce the Korean public pension system and going to highlight the challenges for the reform, future reform. And our second speaker is Professor Noriyuki Takayama, and he is from the Research Institute for Policies on Pension and Aging, and he's also a materialist professor from Hitotsubashi University, Japan. And our third speaker is from Taiwan, and Professor Zhang Zhikai, he is from Suzhou University, Dongwu Daxue, and he's going to talk about sustainability and equity of Taiwan's national pension insurance based on premium payment behavior. And so now, please welcome our first speaker, Professor Kim.
Yeah, good afternoon. I once came and working at Korean University. I'm glad to be here and give presentation. This is my first presentation in person and abroad after COVID-19, I think. During COVID-19, I always then give presentation only on online. Then this is for me is some new beginning, kind of. Yeah, thank you very much. And today I want to illustrate the current reform debate of public pension system in South Korea. How can I go to over? To have some kind of point. I can use this one. Oh, yeah. And my presentation is divided into 3 parts. First, I will describe the challenge of the pension system. I will describe the elderly poverty in South Korea. Next, I will address the major reform issues. And here, I will also explain some pension institution in Korea. Third, I will explain the reform models under discussion and give some prospect for pension reforms. As you see here in the picture, the elderly poverty rate in Korea is the highest level among OECD countries. Korea has higher poverty rate, elderly poverty rate than East Asian countries such as Taiwan, and Japan, and even China. The elderly poverty is also a severe chronic problem here. A severe chronic problem. Since 2006, the elderly poverty rate is above 40%. And the elderly poverty rate cannot be explained by the employment activities of elderly. Korea's employment rate is about 50%. That is significantly higher than OECD average of 22%. And this graphic also shows the elderly poverty rate by income resource across countries. The Korea's elderly poverty rate by market income is sometimes similar or lower than other countries. However, in other countries, the poverty transfer eliminates big part of poverty, while that of Korea has little effect on poverty rate. In this sense, also you can see here, you can compare Korea and Japan. They have the similar level of poverty rate by market income, but in Japan the poverty transfer of Japan pension system Japan is a huge effect on reduce of poverty rate. However, in Korea there is so small effect of the pension system. In this sense, we can say that the poor, the weak pension system is a major reason, major cause of high poverty rate in South Korea. Also, this picture also shows the pension transfer, pension expansion in OECD countries. It also confirms the Korea's the weak public pension system. As you see here, the pension expansion in Korea is about 3.3% is lowest level in OECD countries. And despite of this high elderly poverty rate, the expansion of pension system has been delayed. The Korean pension system is still remains underdeveloped. Since 2000, there has been no increase in real pension. There is no change, no improvement of real pension expenditure. The real pension expenditure is calculated by dividing pension expenditure by the aging rate. In this way, we can control the automatic increase of pension expenditure according to increase of number of elderly. It means we can estimate the increase in pension expenditure only caused by political decision, only caused by institutional improvement. That is why the Korean elderly poverty rate is so not only high but also chronic, because the public pension system in Korea is little improved since 2006. I would like to move on the second part of my presentation. The second part is a major. In this part, I will explain some pension system in South Korea, and I will explain also the reform issues to three major reform issues. This picture shows the entire picture of Korean pension system. Korean pension system has three pillar system, three multi-pillar system. As you see here, in first tier, there are two public pension systems, the national pension system and the basic pension system. National pension system was introduced in 1988. This one is introduced. Basic pension introduced 2013 and 14. And in addition, we have here pensions for special occupational groups such as the public officials and the veterans and also teachers in private schools. Like in Taiwan is labor insurance. And as you see here, this one covers 6% of population. This one covers 67% of the elderly aged 55 years old. This one should covers entire working population, but actually it covers about 70% of working population. And we have also the retire in the second tier retirement pension or retirement allowance. We have here was introduced 1958, and it is also a compulsory system. It means then the company is obligated to pay pension 8.3% a month of the wage. This is a huge system. And the problem is here, in this system, 97% of recipients receive the benefit in the form of lump sum payment. And that therefore it has little effect on the retirement income security in South Korea. And we have also here the personal pension introduced 1995, but it covers about 12% of population, but it's not a compulsory per voluntary system. Means then only the rich people can join in this system. As you see here, in this presentation, I will concentrate on these two public pension systems because only these two public pension systems provide a substantial income for the elderly, for the ordinary people. And I will explain a little bit more about the national pension system. National pension system, as I said, a compulsory social insurance system with a wide coverage. However, some people like the spouses of the insurance are in this system excluded, and otherwise it should cover entire population, exception for the woman, and this system is of course is managed by an MPS and managed by a minister. Pension age is now increased to 65 years old. It has a partial funding system. It means his benefits should be financed not only by contributions, but also by a pension fund and its profit. In the beginning of the national pension system, the contribution rate is very low, about 3%. However, the benefit level at that time was 70% when the insured pay contributions for 40 years, and in this case, they are 70% of their previous income. There is a huge difference between contribution rate and benefit rate. It causes automatically the long-term financial instability problem. As you see here, the pension fund here is the first projected is exhausted 2031, and that was that caused several pension reforms. In the first pension reform, the benefit level was reduced from 70% to 60%, and the contribution rate was raised from 6 to 9%. And with this reform, they could push the exhausting year from 2031 to 2047. And in the second pension reform, it was 2007, they reduced again the benefit level from 60% to 40%. It has influence on the pension fund, then means then the pension fund will remain 2060 instead of 2047. That was the result of the latest pension reform in 2007. However, as you see, this reform improved the financial condition of the national pension system. However, it doesn't resolve completely. And in addition, also of this, the radical benefit reduction of benefit level was caused protest of the civic movement organizations. It means that this reform did not finish the reform debate, but after reform, the debate about pension reform started again. We are now in the process of continual reform debate. Yeah, and I have to also notice there is a strong income redistribution effect in the national pension system because it is this system comes from old Japanese system. In old Japanese system, as you know, the basic pension system and the income-related system was put together. Yeah? And in 1981, and Japan reformed this system and separated this system in two systems. However, in Korea remained this old Japanese system. This old Japanese system again comes from old German system. We are all connected in this way. I think this is put together the basic pension and the income-related pension. And as a result, there is a huge income redistribution effect. The insured with average income will receive 31% of previous income when they give presentation and contributions for 40 years. And income with 50% of average income will receive 43%. Income is double the average income will receive 80%. There is a huge income redistribution effect. And the next one is, as I said, basic pension system. Basic pension system was introduced originally 2007 as the basic old age pension system. But it was replaced by basic pension system in 2013 under the Park Geun-hye government. Okay, yeah. It's mean-tested system. However, the coverage is very wide. It's 70%. It's similar with the Australian system. You know, Australian system also 70%, and it's also financed only by the tax, general tax, not by the tax. 20% come from the local government. Okay, this is the quasi-plate system. It means almost 90% of these people receiving same pension benefit. And the benefit level was, in the beginning, was 90,000 won. It's very little, and then there was the benefit level was raised twice. In 2013, it was raised to 200,000 won, and now it's 300,000 won. 300,000 won in US dollar is $200 13 US dollar a month. And here, for single, the married couple is receiving about 500,000 to won. It means that 340 US dollar a month. Yeah. And new government now is the Yoon Suk-yeol government promised they will increase again this benefit level from 300,000 to 400,000. It means then it will be raised about 420 US dollar a month. And that is the explanation, a short overview of the existing pension system in South Korea. Then we are going to the reform issues. The first one is the reform issues is about the income security function of the national pension system. And about the first one is coverage. As you see here, this is the woman. Yeah, many women, the spouses of the insured, is excluded from the system, and this is the non-standard workers. Before I explain that, in order to receive the benefit from national pension system, you have to pay at least 10 years. It means these people, the non-standard workers and also the women or the spouses of the insured national pension scheme insurance, they pay contributions, but they fulfill these 10 years. Therefore, all these people cannot receive benefit from the national pension system. In the end, the public pension system in South Korea, including special pension, covers only 60% working age population. And it means that 40% of people is excluded from this system. And as a result, that is the composition of pension benefit in 2021. As you see here, this one, the 46% of people are receiving now. 46% of aged above 65 years old, they are receiving national pension system. And this one, 37% are receiving only pension, basic pension system. And if you see here more in detail, 30% they are receiving both because the benefit level of national pension system is very low. They're receiving basic pension as well as national pension benefit. And the next one is in the future projection of the coverage. The coverage problem is not resolved in the future. As you see here, also in 2014, only 61% of people will receive pension from the national pension scheme. It means that this problem is not resolved also in the future because of the Korea. This system is excluded systematically the women and systematically non-standard workers. That is the first problem. The second problem is also second reform issues is the level of a national pension scheme. The benefit level of national pension scheme is extremely low because the contribution years is very short in national pension scheme. As you see here, the average benefit amount is about 780 US dollar a month. And this shows the distribution of the pensioners by pension amount. It means that 63% of the beneficiaries are receiving less than 570 US dollar a month. It is significantly lower than official minimum, national minimum. It means that this pension pension of national pension scheme, the elderly people cannot escape the elderly poverty. The third issue, but is very crucial issue is the financial stability of national pension scheme. As you see, similar, like Taiwan, Korea experiencing the rapid population aging. I think this is really almost same, and perhaps the next presentation will show that this picture. We have almost same conditions. It has the direct influence on the system dependency ratio. The system dependency ratio means the relationship between the number of subscribers, number of beneficiaries. In 2015 is 0.21. It means one subscriber is responsible for 0.21 one beneficiaries. But in 2061, one beneficiary, one subscriber should finance 1.3 number of beneficiaries. It's huge. Huge financial problem. And that's why I think this pension fund is, we have huge pension fund now. We have a lot amount of money. I think the ranking of pension fund in Korea is top fourth, I think, top fourth. There is only Japan, Netherlands, and Canada has. And the CARPAS in the U.S. has more pension fund than the Korean national pension scheme. However, because of this structure, this pension fund will rapidly exhausted, and in 2016 we don't have any pension more. At this time, this pension benefits should be financed only by contributions of working population. And there is a projection. If we have this system maintained, then we have to raise this contribution rate in 2057 to 24 or 25%, from 9 to 25%. And if we want to avoid this rapid increase of contribution rate, we have to immediately increase the contribution rate from 9% to 16%. That is the main reform issue in this pension reforms. Yeah, then I want to move to next part of the presentation. Next part, in process of the pension reform debate, two reform models are proposed. The one is the national pension centered model, and the next is basic pension centered model. The idea of the Model 1 is strengthening the national pension scheme. Means then they will try to strengthen, increase contribution and to increase the benefit level of national pension scheme. And while they try to reduce the coverage of basic pension, it should be transferred to minimum income guarantee. Yeah. That is quite just like the, you can remember the reform in Sweden in 1998. And this shows the strength and the weakness. And this model can relieve the financial burden and the strength of the cost effectiveness of the pension system. However, this system cannot resolve the high elderly poverty rate in South Korea. And this system also will weaken the social right, social social right of all the people, because this is the national basic pension was kind of universal benefit. If this coverage is converted into the national income guarantee, it means then the social assistance system in pension system is strengthened. And I think this is a significant weakening of the social right of the elderly. And there is also the political concern. I think it is also politically impossible to reduce the coverage of basic pension, because the beneficiaries of basic pension will resist against this reform strongly. That is the weakness. And there is also a reform model 2. In this reform model, it tried to strengthen the basic pension. They will increase the benefit level from 300 to 400,000 won. It is about 50% of the income replacement rate of the average income workers in Korea, 15%. Yeah? And they will also, in this system, the coverage should be extended from 70% to 100%. It should be a universal system. And the natural pension system should be maintained, and also contribution rate should be raised. That is the second reform model. And there is also a weakness in the strength. Strength is it is the right answer to reduce elderly poverty in South Korea, and also the problem. There is also is a problem. The most serious weakness of this system is the increasing financial burden. How can we finance this strengthening of basic pension in the age of the aging population? And that is the most serious weakness. And in this model also, you have to increase the contribution rate. But the contribution rate is raising contribution rate is not so easy because of the resist of employees. Employers, of course, is agree, but employers is against this the increase raising contribution rate. Yeah, and finally, I will discuss the prospect for pension reform. The former center-left government, Moon Jae-in government, tried to pension reform based on model 1. It means they try to raise benefit level of an NPS, National Pension Scheme, and at the same time, they try to raise the contribution rate. But it failed because of, as I said, because of the resistance of employers, the business. The business didn't agree with this reform. That's the main reason they failed. The current conservative government also promised in the presidential campaign, he will raise the benefit level of basic pension from 300 to 400,000 won. If I say the income replacement rate, then current income replacement rate of basic pension is about 12%, and the new government promised this 12% raised from 12% to 15%. 15%. That is the promise in presidential campaign. And the opposition Democratic Party announced alternative pension model based on Model 2. Yeah. And in addition, I have to mention most political parties and experts support increase of benefit level of basic pension because of this high elderly poverty rate. And they also agreed to raising contribution rate of MPS. But as I said, employers is against this raising contribution rate. In July 2002, the Special Committee of Pension Reform was established in National Assembly, and the discussion began. However, the political condition of reform is not really favorable. Now is in Korea is the opposition party has a majority in National Assembly. It means pension reform is never accomplished without consent of opposition party. But opposition party is, of course, is and now is this recently. These government and opposition parties are fighting and then cooperating. That means then there is less chance the pension model of government can pass the National Assembly. It means it's very difficult. The political condition is not so favorable, not so easy. Oh, time up. I'm sorry. And conclusion is, I only want to say that I didn't say. As you see, Korea has dringent, urgent, necessary reform, pension reform, but because of all these political conditions, the prospect is the pessimistic than the optimistic. Thank you very much for your attention.
My name is Noriyuki Takayama from Japan, and it is my tremendous honor. It is my tremendous honor to be here to present pension systems in Japan. And today's presentation is organized as follows. And regarding the current rules of Social Security pension benefits, I would like to take up the following 3 points. The first, the Social Security pension benefits are major income source in old age in Japan. And the second, Japanese elderly household are better off than young ones. This is very strange and quite peculiar situation in current Japan. And third, the Social Security pension benefits are more equal than household total income of the elderly household. See the next several slides. And this slide shows that they are here. Social Security pension benefits account for a little more than 60% in total. And the second important or large component coming from paid work, 22%, relatively high. And the pension benefit from non-mandatory funded pensions plans, occupational or personal one, is included in others. I'm sorry. Yeah. This is others, and it is still minor in percentage.
Sorry, you need to talk in the microphone, or
Yeah.
else we won't be able to hear you in the interpreting booth. So if
Okay.
you hold up the mic. Sorry.
I understand. Yeah. And around 90% of elderly people household receive the Social Security pension benefit as a major income source, more than 60% of all. And this slide shows the average household annual income per capita by age. And this is the elderly one, the age more than age of 65 and over, and the younger ones less than age 40. And the income level is a little bit higher for the elderly persons than the younger ones. And this is, as I say, quite peculiar one in current Japan. And the majority of Japanese pensioners regard their Social Security pension benefit as a blessing and receive them with deep thanks. Incidentally, on the payday of Social Security pension benefit, many beneficiaries feel happy to give their grandchildren an allowance. We call it the okozukai in Japan, and enjoy the special meal with a premium Japanese wine. See this slide and next slide. And among the elderly household, the Social Security old age pension benefits are distributed more equally than their household total income. This is shown by the Gini coefficient in this slide. And as you know, Japan is one of the oldest countries in the world. And the elderly people are qualified to receive the Social Security pension benefit. Almost all of them are qualified to receive it. And so the current Social Security pension system is working as one of the established social infrastructures in Japan, very robust and stable. And I'd like to go further to explain the basic structure of Social Security pensions. Japan's Social Security pensions have a history of nearly 150 years, very long in Asian countries. And the current program virtually of a defined contribution type, not a defined benefit type, after the 2004 pension reform. The Social Security pensions are financed basically on a pay-as-you-go basis. And they have a two-tier benefit structure for salaried employees. And it includes a flat rate basic benefit. And the current contribution rate is 18.3%, divided equally by employees and their employers' parts. And normal pensioner wage is 65. The stage of receiving old age benefit for each individual is selectable from 60 to 75 with their monthly amount of reductions or increment. For example, if a person begins to receive benefit from age 70, then the increment in the amount of monthly benefit is by 42%. And the distribution of the monthly amount of old age pension benefit for retired workers in private sector is shown in the next slide. And the variance of its distribution mainly comes from the different levels of earnings in the past, and also from different lengths of period of contribution years. And has Social Security pension benefit for the elderly are mainly financed by contributions from their children and grandchildren. It is a pay-as-you-go system. It is a socialist system of income transfers between parents and their children. It's also a system of dividing the value added of national economy between retired persons and actively working ones. And this last statement in this slide is quite important when we talk on future policy options. And the future of Social Security pensions in Japan will decisively depend on the following 5 factors. First, future demography. Second, the level of real economic growth. And third, what changes in pension program will take place. And the fourth, how long each individual will make pension contributions. And the fifth, each individual choice when to start receiving pension benefits. But our future is hardly predictable. Around 1970, 50 years ago, the few Japanese were able to predict that within the next 50 years, Japan would have an annual increase of CPI more than 20%, and negative changes of wages in nominal terms, and share price downfall of stock and shares to 1/5 from the peak, and long-lasting 0% rate interest, and the decrease of total fertility rate down to less than 1.3, and the declining population. And Japanese poor ability to foresee the future virtually remain unchanged for the past 50 years. Thus, few Japanese can accurately anticipate what will take place in Japan within the next 50 years from now on. So the pensions have just to be reformed continually with no finish to flexibly adapt to the changing demographic and economic circumstances. And this slide shows the Japan demography. And the total number of population began to decrease in 2008 and will continue further in the future. And the current number of population, total number of population, 126 million. And in 30 years ahead, it decreased to 95 million. It is the estimated figure. And this is because the so low total fertility rate and the current one are 1.3. And and the life expectancy they're quite a little bit different between men and women. And Japanese elderly are supposed to survive until age 90, not 100. Not 100, just 900. So on average. And in 2020, 67 million working persons financially supported life of 126 million poor population. That is 1.9 persons per worker. And 30 years ahead, 4 million working generations will be estimated to do so, for a total of 95 million persons. That is 2.1% per worker. The actively working persons will be forced to bear relatively a little bit heavier burdens during the next 30 years under the declining and aging population. And here I would like to introduce a new technical term, the support ratio. It's different to dependency rate. And the support ratio is defined as the total number of population divided by the number of people, persons who are engaged in the paid work. And the question is, which is more relevant? Share of the elderly population or the dependency ratio or this support ratio? As far as future pensions are concerned, my answer is the support ratio. And this slide shows some of the current economic indicators. And only changes in CPI minus 1.0% in the year 2020. And also in the same year, annual changes in monthly earnings in nominal terms. Yes, this is plus 0%, 6%, that's very low. And the population of age 65 and over in paid work is 25%, relatively high. And the population of age 75 and over in paid work is 11%, very high. And the amount of total Social Security pension benefit is around a little bit higher than 10% of her GDP. And funded reserves of pensions for Social Security pensions on the market price basis, 234 trillion Japanese yen. And non-mandatory funded pension plans, occupational and personal, it is 92 trillion Japanese yen, a very small one compared to the Social Security pensions reserve. And life expectancy at age 65 is still going longer and longer. And nominal GDP per capita, its first downfall was observed in the latter 1990s, and since then, the downfall was observed several times. And changes in CPI, its first downfall to minus was observed around the year 2000. And the monthly cash earnings, its first downfall was took place in 1998, and since then it is decreasing. And the Nikkei stock average experienced a sharp downfall of 1/5 from the peak. And so I'd like to proceed further to my final topic today. And it is the challenges ahead. The increasing national output is central for pensions in the future. This is a policy option outside the pension cycle, however. And working longer with higher productivity is a trump card in surviving difficulties in depopulating and aging society. It enables the younger generation to enjoy an adequate amount of their pension benefits after retirement. And longer working years corresponding to longer life expectancy are immensely required. Pension policies have to go hand in hand with employment policies. Today, Japanese people can choose the age when they begin to receive old age benefit from Social Security pensions at their own initiative between 60 to 75. Encouraging later retirement and eliminating the work disincentive are needed. In particular, abolishing the work earning test for the employees of age 65 and over is required. In the future, Japan's pension authorities have to further reduce current generous Social Security old age benefit for existing pensioners. They should persuade the current existing pensioners to accept some concessions. On the other hand, the authorities have to encourage young and middle-aged persons more than ever to participate in funded pensions on a private basis, mainly by lifting up the maximum imposed on contribution to defined contribution plans. And the retired parents are expected to maintain their dignity, while their actively working children should be rewarded reasonably for their labors. The Social Security pension system should prescribe the rules for satisfying these two needs, while the income sharing between them still remains a challenge in Japan for the future. Thank you very much for your attention.
patch 档，翻页怎么翻页？我怎么翻页？哦，哦 ，OK。Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here to discuss our research on Taiwan's national pension insurance concerning the sustainability and the equality based on premium payment behavior. I will begin my presentation by introducing the National Pension Insurance, or NPI, briefly. Then I will explain why we would like to study NPI citizens, especially based on their premium payment behavior. Then I will show you some comparison of demography and the social economics by the classified premium payment behavior. Then I will discuss the social equality and the financial sustainability of MPI. Finally, I will recap some of my conclusions. Okay, before 2008, only people with occupation can be covered by the public pension system. In other words, non-working citizens are not covered by any public pension insurance in Taiwan. Since 2008, the Ministry of Health and Welfare initiated and has been implementing the MPI. The citizen age from 25 to 64 will be qualified automatically if they are unemployed. Like all other pension systems, the MPI is a defined benefit program with guaranteed monthly pension payments at the beginning of age 65. It also provides a lump sum payment for maternity and death, and the pension benefit for surviving family members and the disabled citizens. Since then, the final piece of the first pillar of the public pension system in Taiwan has been completed. Unlike all other public pension insurance, the qualified citizen of MPI is free to choose to pay their premium or not. Our current premium is about 1,700 New Taiwan dollar per month, determined by a unified premium rate, multiplied by a monthly insured amount, which will be adjusted by CPI or inflation rate. Government provides subsidy with 40% to 100%, depending on their poverty level or the degree of disability. The more you pay, the more you get. Now, the average monthly pension payments amount to 3,700 New Taiwan dollar per month around. Since 2008, over one-half population in Taiwan are ever qualified by MPI. There were about 3 million qualified citizens by the end of 2021. Now, the MPI is the second largest public pension insurance in Taiwan compared to labor insurance. Okay, let's compare how much pension benefit of the current MPI annuitants from age over 65 among the MPI and the labor insurance and other insurance. Okay, overall, 33% of the total pension benefit comes from the MPI. For the lowest sorry. OK， 没有，上一张。Sorry. For the lowest income level here, the lowest income level, the MPI tax benefit tax about 40% or more than 40% of the total pension benefit. So, and the lower household earning, the higher proportion of national MPI benefit. So the MPI, in some degree, achieve social equality by providing better pension benefit for the low-income citizens. I will discuss some of the challenges faced by the MPI. The first one is underfunding problem. This figure shows the actuarial prediction of the premium income and the benefit outgo for the 40 years. As shown by these figures, our premium income is stable but decreasing over the time because we have less and less young people. But for the pension benefit, it increases and is expected to exceed the premium income for the next 20 years. So eventually, the MPI fund is expected to be exhausted in 30 years. Okay, but this is a common problem faced by most of the public pension insurance in Taiwan. Okay, the second challenge is, besides of the underfunding problem, the second problem is so-called poor's insurance. The MPI is now trying to help non-working citizens for saving for their everyday life by the premium payment. However, non-working citizens tend to be poor and unable to pay. That's why the MPI is called the poor's insurance, and the MPI's premium is even called a punishment of the poor. Let's check the premium payment rate by different subsidy level. As shown by these figures, the people with higher subsidy level tend to pay the premium, and they are all disabled and poor citizens. So does it mean that it's an ineffectiveness of the MPI on acting the social equality? But those disabled and poor citizens only takes about 12 or 15%. So if we want to answer the question if MPI is poor's insurance or not, we have to do some investigation to try to understand the relationship between the premium payment and the economic status. Okay, the third challenge is the so-called decreasing overall premium payment rate. Because of the voluntary premium payment rate, we have a lower and lower premium payment rate. It means that it shows that we have less and less premium income and the failing financial sustainability. So it's effectiveness of the MPI to encourage our citizens to save for their life. Okay, it's a problem. But if we want to promote the premium payment rate, we should be careful about the underfunding problem because PPR or premium payment rate promotion will generate higher financial gap. So we are motivated to try to understand who really need it and do they really pay for the premium. Okay. Instead of the overall premium payment rate, we use another index ourselves. That's the individual premium payment rate by the total number of paid, of the premium paid divided by the total month staying in MPI. Here is the histogram of the individual premium payment rate of all the MPI members. We can find that there are two main kinds of MPI members: those who pay their premium continuously or regularly, or not pay the premium at all. Okay, we have 25% of MPI members who never pay their premiums. However, we have 62% of MPI premium pay their premium of MPI members who pay their premium continuously and regularly. So overall, reacting to the decreasing premium payment rate will ignore some citizens who need it and who need it and pay for it. Okay, so our next question is, who needs MPI? Our standard is the longer the citizens stay in MPI, the more important it is to them. So we use another index, that's the individual qualified intensity. By calculating the total number of months stay in MPI divided by the total number of months, life month before age 65. I use the, we use the, for simplicity, we divided the group in, we divide the MPI member into 4 groups. The low MPI or the low Q, okay, the low QI or the high QI, and we further divide under each QI level, we further divide the high PVR or low PVR, as shown by this figure. For the left-hand side, you can observe that the QI is much lower than the right-hand side, and under each QI level, the PPR and the PPR has a different apparent difference between the low PPR and high PPR. Eventually, we have 30%. We have 30% of MPI members who are in need of MPI and pay their premium regularly. So they contribute up to 82% or 80% of the total MPI premium. We have 20% of the MPI members who are in need of MPI but seldom pay. And we have 36% of the MPI members who stay in MPI shortly but pay their premium regularly. They contribute to 15% of the total MPI premium. Finally, we have 40% of MPI members who stay in MPI shortly and pay less. According to our observation, there are more and more low QI and low PVR who stay in MPI shortly and pay less. That's why we observe a decline in overall premium payment rate. This figure shows the personal income and the household earning for the 4 groups. Okay, as shown by these figures, the higher household earning or the higher personal income, the higher premium payment rate for both low QI or high QI, or the left-hand side or right-hand side. And under each QI level, the household earning or personal income is critical for the MPI demanded to pay for it, because we observe that for the high QI and the high PPR, the household earning is much higher than the personal income. That's why we would like to stress that the family dependence is very important and very critical to the premium payment rate. Again, is MPI the pros insurance? We cannot answer this subject question, but this phenomena gives you some reference to determine if MPI is pro insurance or not. To study financial sustainability, we compare the benefit and the premium or the actuarial liability among the 4 months. For the group with high QI and high PPR, okay, they stay in MPI and pay the premium regularly, so they benefit the most and they generate the highest actuarial liability. The low QI and the high PPR here, Okay, they are the second largest source of premium income from the labor insurance. So under MPI, a substantial proportion of MPI's actuarial liability comes from the outsider, from labor insurance. So we must think about a question or problem. Should MPI take this responsibility for someone who temporarily stayed in MPI? Okay, let's check the subsidy, premium subsidy among the 4 groups. Okay, the premium subsidy, the highest premium subsidy are enjoyed by the high QI and high PBR. Okay, high group. Sorry. The high group. Okay. However, the people who demand MPI but pay less or unable to pay does not enjoy higher premium subsidy than other group or other outsider from labor insurance. So is it fair to them? We suggest that government subsidy should be more related to their economic status. Okay. To compare social equality, we use fair premium rate. The higher premium rate, the higher benefit they get compared to the premium they paid. Okay, as shown by these figures, the high QI and the high PBR enjoy the benefit the most, and the high QI and the low PBR who are in need of MPI and unable to pay it, enjoy the less of the benefit compared to the premium they paid. Okay, so why their premium rate is the lowest? Because they are subjected to the highest mortality rate, which reflects their socio-economic level and their working ability. Since they are very weak in socio-economic level, so we may ask, do they deserve more subsidy from government? Okay, this is my conclusion. Okay, the first, although we have lower and lower premium payment rate, a certain group in need of MPI and consistently pay for it. Don't overreact to the decline average premium payment rate, especially with the underfunding problem. And we should pay more concern on those who need MPI and try to care about do they pay for it. Okay, we can, a minor group of the citizens are in need. They are in need of MPI but unable to pay it. Our government subsidy policy should be more related to economic status. The most important is that under MPI, a substantial portion of premium and benefit comes from the outsider who stay in MPI shortly and also be covered by the labor insurance. So, the MPI should take responsibility for this outsider from labor insurance just for universality, or put more emphasis on the people who are in need of MPI to ensure a better financial sustainability and the social equality. Well, that's all my presentation. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much for our three speakers. And if you listen carefully, you can see that they have different focus on their presentations. I should remind you that Professor Kim, he is a sociologist, and Professor Takayama, he's economist, and Professor Zhang, he's actuarial specialist, 社会学家、经济学家、精算学家. So they discuss the pension system in different perspectives. And for Korea, I think Professor Kim emphasized the challenges, not only population trends, but also political challenges. And Professor Takayama brings the insight of the population trend and economic growth of the impact on pension development. And Professor Zhang, he concerned about Taiwan's pension system in terms of who pays premium continuously and who do not, who should get more subsidies, because this system, as his analysis shows that mostly for low-income group who join this system. And I think this session is scheduled to end by 20 to 3, but I think because we started 10 minutes later, so I think they justified if we end this session 10 minutes later. So they left us for about 16 minutes for questions and comments. And before that, I shall introduce some of our special guests. We have many officers from our government department. We have officers from 社会保险司 Social Insurance Division, from National Health, from Social Welfare and the Health Ministry. And also we have our officers from National Insurance Advisory Board, 国民年金监理会 and from Labor Insurance Bureau, 还有劳保局 And thank you very much for coming and joining this conference. And we have our East, our former Ministry of Labor, 之前张老师 之前的前劳动部长. Thank you very much for coming, for joining the conference. And so now I open the floor for comments and questions and any feedbacks. If you have any questions or comments, please raise your hand. Professor Chan, please.
Thank you. Use microphone. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Chairman Professor Fu and our three speakers from overseas, many from Korea and Japan, and local, Professor Zhang. Distinguished guests, I'm really honored to be invited as an audience here. After listening to our speakers' very excellent presentation on the development and difficulties and also challenges of their respective pensional systems, I want to congratulate their wisdom for sharing very openly the difficulties with us, so we can learn their lessons and then perhaps draw up our plan for the future development. Just as Professor Zhang indicated, that finance is a major issue of our national pension programs. I think this is very complicated issues with the growing problems of the demographic structures in our three countries. Japan is leading. Japan has a very rich experience in developing their pension programs and followed through by Korea and Taiwan. So this is very complicated, dealing with finance, pension structure, policy making. So I have only two very brief questions. The first one is to Japan. You mentioned that in the near future, you try to reduce the pension. Could you tell us how to make it? Okay. The second is my question to Professor Kim. In Korea, you have two major programs. One is the national pension, and overlapping with the social pension. So in a way that a population, a certain group of population will be covered overlappingly by these two programs. But then how can you do it? How you separate it and how you pay pension at the same time they are covered by two programs? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, Professor Takeyama.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your first question to Japan. And because the time is limited, I only spoke the success story of Japan. But for the past 50 years, we have so many mistakes. And it is overcome currently. And as for the reducing the Social Security benefits, amount of Social Security benefit, we have experienced several times in the past. The trigger is a annual account deficit in Social Security, and current account deficit, and you're getting very serious. But what to do to overcome this kind of deficit, and to increase the contribution rate, and to reduce the revenue level? So we have experienced several times to do it, and overall the pensioners accept this kind of changes to have a smaller amount of benefit for the future. It is a political compromise, but the basic understanding of public pensions are rather difficult for general public. If they want to the higher benefit level, its victim is the children and grandchildren. Please understand these kind of reasoning, they persuade so frequently to the pensioners, and they are obliged to accept these kind of changes. That's my answer. So I'm rather optimistic to reduce further for the current existing pensioners to accept more concessions for their children and grandchildren. That's my answer.
Okay, thank you very much. So the social, how to say that? I think people's mind, they think reform is good. Even you reduce the benefit in the short term, but it's good for the long term, for sustainability, for generations to come. It's not only for their own benefits. So they're concerned about the sustainability and the long-term operation of the system. So I think this is what social security is about. It's about social solidarity. It's not about selfish, just concern about our own interest. Thank you very much. And Professor Kim, about Koreans.
Yeah, Professor Chen, as I understand rightly, then you're asking question about the relationship between basic pension and national pension scheme. Yeah? That is really interesting and the key question we have now. That's really, if we have answer to the question, then we can resolve these problems. Yeah, and we have different answers now. That is the problem. As I said, then now 37% only basic pension, and 30% is both, and the rest 16% is only national pension scheme. Yeah, then that is our debate. That's about your question is really point out our reform question. Yeah. There are two two solutions. The first solution is we are going to Japan. Everyone receive basic pension. It's, difference is that in Japan, is the basic pension is financed almost by a contribution rate. Of course, there are huge government subsidies. And the working population can receive income-related pension additionally. Additionally, then that is one way. The second way is like Sweden or like Germany or other countries. The first, we have to separate two groups. The overlapping should be deleted, reduced. Then everyone, the people who receive the national pension benefit, then these people cannot receive the basic pension. There is two options. Then what I want to say is that the second option is, as I said, model one is what I said. That the problem is in Taiwan is, as I have heard, the benefit level of labor insurance about 60% of income replacement rate. The problem is in Korea is, in this case, I think the beneficiaries can be separated to national pension scheme and the labor insurance scheme. But in our problem is, in Korea is the benefit level of national pension scheme is too low. It's only 30%. Then it's not sufficient to cover the life cost of the people. Then, and what I want to say is that these beneficiaries of national pension scheme, they need additional support from the state. Otherwise, they cannot escape absolute poverty rate. Absolute poverty. That is why I prefer this Japanese model to Swedish model or other models. That is, Japanese model is more suitable for Korean case. Thank you.
Okay, we have another question from one of our audience who is too shy to ask personally, so I will serve to ask the question. This is to Professor Takayama, and this person is very concerned about Japan's system. And you mentioned that in Japan, people can decide, can choose the age when they started to receive pension between 60 and 70. So if they decide to postpone, say, to 70 years old, 72, do they still have to pay premium when they are 60? They continue to pay? Yeah. And the second question is that, so those who decide to, the government try to encourage people to retire later, so they postpone their pension age. And that means that the year they actually can receive pension is very short, from 75, say, to 80 to 83. So does that disencourage people's motivation to pay premium?
I am an economist and not a sociologist. And for economists, the incentive mechanism or motivation is most important in designing the system. And currently, the normal pension age is 65, and the Japanese government doesn't want to raise further to age 70 or 72. Rather, it is a choice problem for each individual. Please choose to contribute longer. We give you an incentive or motivation to do so. That is our answer. And so the increment of the amount of pension benefit, monthly pension benefit, is much larger for each individual who contribute more, longer. That is the current stance of Japanese government. And it's okay for you guys.
Thank you. I think we still have 2 minutes. We can have last round question, comments. Any more questions and feedbacks or comments? OK. 桑市长，Director Shang from Social Insurance Division of Health.
Thank you very much, especially for your very comprehensive presentation. And as we know, that automation, AI, increasingly replace the workers in manufacturing or other sectors of economy. So Professor Takayama talking about Japanese cannot foresee the future very precisely, and you also talking about to increase the output. So I think can you? I wonder if you could say more about this. Have you ever considered this situation into consideration?
For the future, the amount of total pension benefit in the GDP is currently around 10%, and it will stay in the same level. And the Social Security cost of healthcare or long-term care is increasing much higher, much faster, and it will beyond the level of pension benefits in GDP in the future, because the healthcare and long-term care is very important for us Japanese, but the Social Security pension benefits, the understanding of Social Security pensions are now growing, and they understand, the general public understand the basic reasoning for the pensions in the future. So to finance the increasing cost of healthcare and long-term care is much important and serious in Japan. So the major point is moving to pensions, to healthcare and long-term care for the future. That's my answer. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think we cannot accept more, or cannot take more questions due to a time limitation. And we have 3 different pension systems in Taiwan, Korea, and Japan, and but similar challenges. I think we probably raise more questions and challenges than answers. But I think we should all be prepared that further reform is inevitable. So in order to lend our parents, ourselves, our children, and our children's generation to have pension, to be protected by pension system, I think we should be prepared, and we should have more discussions and more concern about this, how this system developed, and not to be too selfish, and to have a whole picture, and to support the sustainability of the long-term operation of pension system. I think that's a very important point. Thank you very much. This session ends here.
We thank our moderator and panelists for this session, and most of all, thank you all for your participation. Before the recession, let's have a group photo together. So now I invite our moderator and our distinguished guests to return to your seats, and our cameraman will shoot a picture from the stage. And we invite all the participants to take part in the photo. 我们现在请现场的朋友往中间移动，我们要跟我们的这个 panelist 还有我们的 moderator 来一张难得的合照，来纪念一下今天这个时刻。那所以麻烦现场的与会朋友可以麻烦移动你的脚步往中间稍微移动一下。